Well, all right. Welcome to another Financial Friday. Yes, it is Financial Friday. And I am your host, Dr. A.D. Burns. And my co host is on the way. And so I decided that I would just go ahead and get started tonight while he makes his way this way. We have all night prayer tonight. And so I wanted to go ahead and get going so that we could be ready for that. So, welcome to another Financial Friday, where we are striving for financial freedom. And so, financial freedom is so important. And I'm so encouraged by those who have tuned in over the months that we've been doing Financial Friday. And we got some great things on the horizon. Oh my goodness, we got some great things on the horizon. On last week, Sunday, during our worship service, the Lord began to speak to me about a six-figure anointing, And so I wanted to begin to develop. I started right away Sunday night. Developing uh, some basis for six-figure anointing, and begin to create some different things that has to happen. And in January, we want to be able to launch a six-figure book that Brother James and I have co-wrote together. And so we're believing that we're going to have it edited and published by then. And then we're going to spend the first part of 2025 going through that, walking through that. And our goal is to create some six-figure students. Yeah. How did that sound? Yeah. Some six-figure students. And so I'm excited about that. And so tonight, I wanted to start. Let me hold on. Let me see what's going on. Hold on just a half a sec. Let me see what I got here. There you go. I'm kind of working on get some stuff in my face here. Uh, so I can see some comments. All right, Minister Simone is watching. Good evening, my sister. And so tonight I wanted to start talking about, developing a six-figure mindset. Developing a six-figure mindset. And so Brother James is going to be on in just a few, and he's going to share some books with you that you could begin to get your mind together. The Bible says in Romans chapter 12 that we have to renew our mind. And after he said it, when we renew our mind, we'll be able to, recognize, what's good and what the perfect will of God is. Let me pull me up a Bible here on the screen. And so renewing your mind is going to be so important. And I want to, I'm gonna refer a couple times to our Sunday service because it was just so awesome to me, and I believe it can be very helpful for you. I'm pulling up my Bible app, but we talked about this, whole idea of a poverty mindset that oftentimes we can't, tap in because of of a poverty mindset. When you not used to having anything or you're used to things always going the wrong way, uh, if you're not careful, you'll develop a mindset that always expects the worst. And in turn, what happens is, you won't be able to see stuff. You won't be able to see past that which you expect. All right. And there it is. I got it. It's Romans chapter 12, verse 2. In the King James, it says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." And so it's saying, in order for us to be able to actually prove or manifest what is that good, acceptable, perfect will of God is for our lives, we have to be transformed. And many people try to tap in without being transformed. There are certain things that we try to hold on to. And so you have, what is called a poverty mindset. And, when we lock into being a victim, you hear people oftentimes, they talk like they are the victim, you know what I mean? And in some ways you could be the victim. However, it's a transformation that has to happen. And transformation starts on the inside. Transformation starts on the inside and it shows up on the outside. And so who you are I got to wipe my screen up a little bit here. Yeah. And so, that's much better. And so who we are on the outside is a reflection of who we are on the inside. And so when we look at the different things that we experience on the outside, oftentimes that's a reflection of what's on the inside. And so in order to be transformed, Romans says that we have to renew our minds. Our minds has to be renewed. And so he said, when we renew our mind, then he says that we can prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God is. All right. And so I am going to see if this is right. I'm working with this this platform that we're on, and I'm going to post something and see where it shows up at. Okay, nope, it didn't let me do it there. Let's see. So that's important to understand that, because that puts the power in our hands when we understand that. So yeah, it won't let me do that. So nope, it won't let me do that. So it puts the power in our hands, and so transformation comes from the inside. And in order to transform what's inside, the Bible says here in Romans that we have to renew our mind. We have to renew our mind. And so it's important that you understand how to renew your mind. To renew your mind, for me, I've learned over the years to renew your mind. The best way to renew your mind is to read. And it's interesting that most people don't like to read. And then there are some people, how you read. Some people can read from the internet. For me, I like physical things, physical books. I retain it longer and better when I read it. And so it's important that we understand, in order to be able to transform, in order to be able to, for it to show up on the outside, it has to be something that take place on the inside. And that's a renewed mind. And so if you're going to walk in a six-figure anointing, you first have to have a six-figure mindset. And a six-figure mindset consists of several things I want to share with you. But overall, you're going to have to combat or come against some of the thought patterns that you had, that you've grown up with, or that you have embraced, because if you broke a long time, you can embrace that, and you can come to peace with the fact that, you're always going to be broke, even though that's not true. It's only true if you believe it to be true. And so it's important to be able to understand you are responsible for, your life and where your life goes. Anyone who's sit under me any length of time, you've heard me say that life is choice driven. Our lives are the sum total of the choices that we made. And so choices good or bad, choices informed or uninformed, choices smart or stupid. We are the sum total of the lives that we live, is a product of our choices. And so if you want to change what you are experiencing, and whether you want to experience greater than where you are, no matter where that is, or no matter what it is that you want to change, it starts with making different choices. All right. It starts with making different choices. All right. And so it's important that we get to the place where we take control over our lives, that we take back our lives from just allowing it to drift in the wind and just to end up being whatever it end up being. Right. Elder Perry says, yes, that's true. So let's look at this for a minute and see if we can come up with a couple things, because that's a powerful text. When it says, don't be conformed. Conform means to give in to the way things are. And so you may not have any money now, or you may not be where you want to be financially now, or whatever the case may be. Paul is saying in Romans 12, don't conform to that. Don't give in to that. But he said, renew your mind and be transformed. All right. Renew your mind and be transformed. And through your transformation now, you will be positioned to be able to prove what is that good, acceptable, perfect will of God is. All right. And so that's a powerful text to me. So how do we develop a six-figure mindset? All right, let me see. That's my co-host chiming in here. Let's see. How do we develop? Let me see. Okay, yeah. How do we develop that? So that's my co-host having some challenges getting on, but when he get it together and get on, we'll be ready to Cadillac. There he is, right there. Yes, sir. They were about to start crying because they didn't hear the grinder monologue, and so there's my co-host, Brother James, Minister James, Brother Minister James J.J. Jones in the house. And I felt kind of bad. I said he always wait on me, but then now I didn't wait on him.
Don't worry.
I said we got all night prayer tonight. I can't be messing around with y'all all these. Brother James, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
You doing well?
Yeah, the computer went down, so I have to set everything up on the phone and switch areas. So yeah, all that stuff is fine.
All right. So what you need, a new hard drive or a new power pack or?
I don't even know. According to so long story short, I put in the code, the fail code, and it says revert to the last update. So I reverted to the last update, and then I reverted it, and it said when I was in the process of reverting, it says cannot revert to the latest update. So I was like, okay, if I updated it and now it's not going to let me go back to the next update, what's going to happen? And then when I turned it on, it just crashed again. And I was like, okay, well,
Oh wow! Now that's a good thing. I was just actually talking about that in a different sense. I was talking about some of the things I shared on Sunday when it came to having a poverty mindset and how we can allow those things to embrace those things to the extent that we revert back and not realize that financial freedom is for all of us. God designed us for all of us, but our mindset can keep us from going forth. And so I was going to share a couple things about having a six-figure mindset. And then now you're talking about your computer did this automatic update and it jammed up your computer, and then now it's telling you to revert back to the other update. And I think in a lot of sense, when it comes to people, they think about six figures. Sometimes it looks so overwhelming because maybe they have never had anything, or they never experienced six figures, or they've always been struggling. And so even though they have new information that can lead them to a place of six figures, they have that automatic update kick in and tell them to revert back to that other mindset.
because everybody likes to be in comfort.
Okay.
A person could be drowning, but they always lived in drowning.
Okay.
They always survived in drowning. They know how to make drowning work. They know how to make drowning comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So now they use the drowning. And then somebody comes along and says, "Hey guys, if you just put your hands on these rocks, you can climb on the dry shore." Now nobody said the rocks ain't jagged. No one said the rocks wasn't smooth. They just said you need to put your hands on these rocks and you can climb out of this water and you can walk on this dry land. Some people can know that the land is dry, cannot like the water, but they're so used to drowning that they just stay in the water and keep fighting the drowning.
Wow.
It just
And that's that mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a mindset.
And so it could be comfort zone, it could be fear, it could be a lot of different reasons for that. But we read Romans chapter 12, verse 2, when he says, "Renew your mind." And I was sharing that one of the best ways I found to renew my mind was to read. And so today you had some different books you wanted to introduce to help people with their financial literacy, because you have to replace that old information with some new information. It's not that certain wealthy people are the only ones that can tap into financial freedom. It's not because of their zip code where they live. It's not because of the car they drive. It's not because the places where they shop. Anyone who's willing to climb out of the water, using that metaphor, and cut your hand on some rocks and slip back some little bit on some of those smooth rocks. Anyone rather hear the word, here it come. Anyone that's willing to grind, you can have financial freedom. But you gotta renew your mind. You gotta get rid of some of those old thoughts that you hold on to that's always been there, and refresh that with some new information that can help you make better decisions. And so when it comes to renewing your mind, some good books for financial literacy are, oh no, James, you got to do your hello to all my grinders. Lady B said, always laughing, always smiling. Okay, brother James. All right.
So I want to say hello, everyone, and good evening to all my grinders.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I'm typically laughing and smiling is because when you look at the big picture, the big picture is that it's going to be a situation, but you got to decide how you handle that situation.
Okay.
So you can either be downtrodden, or you could be like, all right, it's just another situation.
Yeah.
My computer broke. Yep, just another situation. Yeah. I caught a flat tire. Yep, it's just another situation. Yeah. We still got to work through it. Like my computer been down. It doesn't alleviate me from doing what I need to do. It just means my computer is down.
Yeah. Yeah,
My, if I, yeah.
no,
So,
no, but you're on the right track on there because it is a matter of perspective, because when you really think about it, we can make that thing as big as we want to make it, and even to the degree that it can paralyze us from moving forward because we're looking at, we blew this thing up out of proportion. Oh, my computer is down now, cussing everybody out. Well, not me, but somebody, and they're upset, they're not user friendly, and I got this flat tire and now I don't have the wherewithal to say good morning to no one, because my tire is flat, and so it's really a matter of perspective because these things happen because that's part of life. There's all different types of things that we have to hurdles that we have to jump over, and the different things that we have to overcome, and obstacles that we have to wait, kind of weave our way, navigate our way through, and so forth and so on. And so there's really not a time that we're not going to have something in front of us that we're going to have to navigate. And so if we allow each obstacle or each hurdle that we face, we're gonna be sad people, man. You just be walking around just sad, and maybe that's why some people are so sad and so negative. They take pessimism to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? It's so negative. It'd be like, man, come on, the sun is going to shine. And so that's part of having a renewed mind, though, right?
yeah. I mean, my thing is, you can always be in agreement. It's just what are you agreeing to?
Okay.
So I was teaching this to, not teaching it. I was talking to this. Well, I probably was teaching it to a lieutenant, but we was talking, and I was telling her situations always happen, but you could just be in agreement. Like, oh, I can't believe this happened. Yes, I can't believe it happened too, but we still got to go. Like, like I'm in agreement with you. I am in agreement. It is raining today, and I did not plan for it. Yes, I am in agreement, but we still got to go do this work outside.
Right.
We it doesn't hurt us to be in agreement with somebody else. It don't even hurt us. It's one of the easiest ways to come into agreement without hurting anybody.
Yeah.
It's like that lady who was she was like, I'm gonna eat some cornmeal and me and my son is gonna die. So the prophet was like, all right, you go do that. but before you do that, just make me something,
Right.
and then you go eat your meal and die. Right? He was in agreement. Hey, if that's how you live your life, have at it.
Okay.
Just make me a little cake on the side, and then you go kill yourself. Right? And like we laughed, but in the end, just because she was obedient to do the small things, she lived.
Yeah.
And her son went down, but then she got a blessing because he came back and renewed the son. And I think that's one of the mindsets that we all need to know that life is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So even though I'm going through something, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be mad. I just be in agreement. You did that? Yes, I did. I did that.
Right.
Yep. I can do better tomorrow, but I messed up.
Yeah.
So am I gonna be downtrodden? No, I'm gonna learn what I did, find a mistake, correct it, and I'm still moving. Like we still got a whole lot of life to live. I'm not gonna let myself drown in upsetness.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Drown in upsetness.
I'd rather be upset for a season and be like, what's happening? Yep, this happened. I'm upset. Cool. Give myself a couple minutes. Okay. All right. Let's go. We gotta keep moving.
Well, wait a minute. Hold up. I'm trying to find my writing utensil. I gotta drown in upsetness. That's good. That's good. I like that. Yeah. So, I don't think that's a word, but we're gonna call it a word tonight.
Upsetness. Upsetness.
That word. No.
even if it's not, it became a word. Look at copacetic.
Yeah.
Copacetic wasn't a word until it became a word.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we can use that one.
So let's talk about some ways that we can renew our minds with financial literacy. So you said that you had a couple books that could be helpful.
One of the best books that I read was I told my daughter this. So my daughter has started her own company. I think she started two smaller companies underneath the big company that she got. And
Okay.
one of the books that I told her about was Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay. That's
And
Stephen
like that
Covey.
is, you said what now?
Is that Stephen Covey?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Hmm.
And the big thing about that is that some of the things in which we go through is just perspective.
Yeah.
And just like you was talking about earlier, it's not the situation we go to, it's not the situation we're all
Mhm.
going through. It's how we look at the situation that we're going through.
Yeah.
And then the seven habits is how do you communicate that to other people? Like how to I want somebody to pick up something. And I know I have authority over them. I have a responsibility over them. But does that mean I'm yelling and angry? Or that means I'm coming aside and being in agreement with them?
Hmm.
And that's what the effective habits do is that they're showcasing. I shouldn't say they're teaching, but they're showcasing how how better leaders do it better.
Okay. How better
So
leaders do better.
yeah, what makes a manager that everyone loves different from the manager everybody hates? Because they're still getting the job done. It's just one guy people take off their shirt for, they'll work overtime, and he won't have any problems.
Hmm.
The other leader, they gotta grumble, complain, and you gotta offer more money. If you
Hmm.
was a better leader, you don't have to offer more money. You can just use your words and say, "Hey, I need this because this is the mission, this is the operation, and it's the way in which we convey those ideas." So that's one of the starter ones.
Okay.
Another one by I believe his name is Reggie Lewis. Reggie Lewis or Reginald? It's either Reginald or Reggie Lewis. It is why should the white guys have all the fun?
Ah.
Uh,
Oh,
so
well, let me see if I can figure out. I'm,
uh, so
I'm,
it's
I'm trying to figure out if I can do a post in here, but it won't let me do a post in here.
oh dang. Yeah, it's a really good book. Um, so okay, don't let this title throw you off. Basically,
Okay.
he's talking about he's talking about how do you do the stock market, how to make more money with your understanding,
Okay.
and by utilizing the stock market, he was able to amass a good net sum. I think either the second or he's either the second or highest uh, wealthiest black entrepreneur or black male in America.
So he's the brother that wrote "Don't Let the White Boy Have All the Fun."
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, these are books that I read that I tell everybody like once you read these books, because the idea is not to make you smarter, but give you more wisdom. Because anybody can study a textbook and get smarter. It's when you utilize it properly to the application that you become more wiser about it.
Oh yeah, so I see it here. It's uh why should white guys have all the fun? Uh, yeah. And it said he built a $1 billion business empire. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now um
Oh, okay. Because you got the image, you got the picture of it.
yeah, but I'm trying to figure out how to put it up here. I can't see how to add nothing to this thing. I know she said it was a plus sign somewhere, but I don't see it here. But
I
we'll
know it's a plus sign. I'm just not in the ability right now to go through all of the controls right now.
say share screen. What if I say share screen? What would it do?
I think you got a presentation.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, I don't. I'm doing all this from my phone, so I haven't
okay.
I haven't mastered the phone yet. Uh,
Well, we'll keep on Cadillacing.
okay.
But yeah,
One.
but it looks like a good book there, though.
Yeah,
And
it is.
it's not. It looks like it's something that's been around for a while as well.
Yeah, so they can go right to the library and get it.
Hmm.
If they like it, you buy it because it supports him. So what I like to do is if I like a book, I buy a book.
Okay.
And the reason why you do that is because you want to support those who are giving you that information.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody is feeding information to your life, if they're selling something, you want to make sure that you at least contribute to what they're doing because what they're doing is beneficial to you. So you can be narcissistic about it or you can be helpful about it. But either way, the book is out there. They could probably get it from the library too.
Yeah, and they got an audio version too. I see on here too, and the correct title is "Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun?" Yeah, why should white guys have all the fun? Scooby Doo.
Now, now
All right.
remember the good part about that is that he actually talks about leveraging your time, leveraging your money, your finances, your resources, things like that. And that's one thing that I believe that we don't utilize as much.
Okay.
And it's the leveraging of time and resources. If
Yeah.
we understood that better, we can go further just by leveraging that time and resources.
Yeah, I agree with that because in a lot of cases, unfortunately, we waste a lot of time, you know, and, I have an illustration that I want to use at some point, and I might even do it Sunday. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say it. Where who is the football player that make now? Who runs with the ball? Is that the running back or the wide
Yeah.
receiver?
No, running back. The running back runs the ball. If
So
you
they
throw
give the
it,
running back the ball and he run with it.
yeah,
And who goes before the running back to open it up for him to get through?
the tight end.
Okay, so prayer is the tight end. It'll open it up for us, but then we have to run. And oftentimes, with information and knowledge, even like Financial Friday, we're opening it up for them. But if you're afraid to run, even though it's open, you still won't be able to make no headway. And so it's important that as we get better information, that we make adjustments to how we live our lives, how we spend our time, how we spend our money, so that we can begin to move up what they call it, not up the line, up the field, with
Up the field, yeah.
so
Move the
that
ball up the field.
so we can move the ball up the field. You know what I mean? And I learned over the years that you do life 10 yards at a time. That's how a football game was won, 10 yards at a time. You know what I mean? And so you might go and get knocked down. You get up, brush it off, huddle up, and then you execute, and you just keep doing that. But a lot of times people get stuck in the huddle, or they get knocked down and they just stay down. You know what I mean? I was talking to Domiko's son today, Lavelle, and he was talking about him and his dad, Corey Sr. They were talking about, like a 300-pound, whoever the guy, what football player who comes through to get the quarterback on the defensive end.
Your linebackers?
Yeah, linebacker. He said a 300-pound plus linebacker come running at you. Corey said, "Well, I'm just gonna lay down. I'm just gonna lay down. Because you get ready to get hurt if 300 pounds come chasing after you and hit you with all he got." And I'm saying that sometimes in life, we're trying to duck getting hit, and as a result, it causes us to lose ground. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if that's too many football. It's football season. And so, that might be too many analogies of football. But let's talk about renewing your mind. So we talked about Stephen Covey. That's a good book. I have that one, and I read through most of it. And then we talked about why should white guys have all the fun? Yes. And so that's an interesting book right there. And it talks about this billionaire and how he was able to create $1 billion $1 billion business empire. So that's something worth. He got some receipts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? All
yeah.
right, all right. Give us some more.
It's a children's book by Damon John. I forgot the name of it, but if you look it up, it's a children's book by Damon John. It's the I think it's the beginning of financial literacy, or it's a children's book from Damon John, and he talks about how he got started with financial literacy. I, I'm pretty sure I already bought that book and I got it upstairs. I gave it to one of my kids so they could read it. I forgot which one, the two younger ones, but it's a good read. The reason why is because if you
What
don't know, your kids need to know. And
what you think the name of it is?
it was my first financial lesson, or like financial literacy, with Damon John. If you put in Damon John kids book, you'll probably find it faster.
Okay.
Yeah, Damon John kids book.
All right. Let's see what it says over here. Um.
And in the book, he talks about how he made his first money, like how he made his first business. Even as a kid, we gotta, even as an adult with children, it's always beneficial for us to, one, be able to read whatever our kids are reading. So that's like the biggest thing that everyone needs to know. Whatever your kids are reading,
So,
you need
so
to be able to read.
it says little Damon learns to earn.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The
All
name
right.
of it is called Little Damon's Learn. He learns to earn.
Right. Right.
And
Little Damon learns to earn.
yeah,
Okay.
and the reasons for that is because that's a book that I read first. I gave it
Hmm.
to my kids because it's an easy read for children. And if we don't know, you
Hmm.
always, if you don't know how to do something, as you learn, let your kids learn. And in that way your kids can help keep you accountable to what you're learning.
Okay.
So the book about Damon is him finding out how to make money, or what is how find out how to make money and how to multiply what you got going on. It's not to make little robots or little businessmen and everybody is like pinching every dollar. It is understanding how money is made. Remember, money is not made because of the fact that you want it to. Money is made because you're doing something with it.
Okay.
So we got to get out of that scary mode and say, you know what, I could have did it. No, stop
Right.
saying I could have. Do it, and
Right.
then whether it goes up or down, celebrate that you did it. Because the
Mhm.
more that you do it, you get a better understanding, and you'll start making better decisions throughout it.
Okay. All right. We got a couple people tuning in tonight. We got Minister Rodney there. Good evening, Minister Rodney. He says, "Good evening, Pastor Burns and Brother James." And I also see greetings from Minister Pfeiffer is tuned in tonight. And we're talking about developing a six-figure mindset. And so it starts with renewing your mind, renewing your mind. And the best way to renew your mind is to read, And so we're talking about some powerful books that you can read, or you can start to renew your mind. And so the first one we talked about was Stephen Covey, and it was, you know, seven
Habits.
habits of highly effective people. And then the second book we talked about was uh, why
Right,
God
guys?
have all the fun. And then the third book we're looking at now is a children's book that I'm interested in getting, and so I can have my grandkids read it after I read it.
Yeah.
And that's by Damon John, called Little Damon Learns to Earn. Little Damon Learns to Earn. And I haven't figured out how to navigate this Ustream, Restream. So I'm just going to keep on going. And so we can put that in the chat. That would be great. Little Damon Learn to Earn. All right. What else you got?
The other one is one of my favorites. I think I read this book a total of about four times, like front
Okay.
to back and four times. It is Cash Flow Quadrant.
That's Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, that's his second book. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think, is a good book for starters to get you to understand that the laws are not meant for working people to be successful. It's meant for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So that's Rich Dad Poor Dad. So if you get the concept of Rich Dad Poor Dad, then you learn that the laws are built not for the working class, but it's built for the entrepreneurs. And
Okay.
that's pretty much Cash Flow Quadrant is a good book because I read that about 4 times. Now in Cash Flow Quadrant, it started breaking down how you are to execute on in these areas. And then it lets you know, are you self-employed? Are you a work employee? You're self-employed, an entrepreneur, or a business owner, and it breaks it down very eloquently so we know where we at. And it's not to put anybody down or to raise anybody up. It is just to give us an insight onto what quadrant we fall in and how we maneuver to the next quadrant.
Okay. Yeah. Now I do remember starting reading that book, and that was very enlightening for me. You know, when I started reading that book, it was very enlightening for me to understand those different perspectives that you're speaking of. Let me do this. I'm going to open up a different window and see if I can drop that in your spirit. No, that was a little spiritual right there. That was a little spiritual. I want to see if I can drop that in the chat, because that's very good when you think about, you know, being able, because that's half of it is being able to understand you know, what it means to have cash flow and what those different quadrants are, so that you can actually be able to make the adjustment based on, you know, oh, wait a minute.
I hear you.
All right, I opened up another window and it was I had two things going on here. Yeah, there you go. Because I just found this cash flow quadrant has a PDF, and it was free, and
Oh,
and so, you know, I don't know if it's the total book of it, but I just dropped it in the it's 133 pages, so I just
wow.
dropped it in the comments, you know.
Yeah. So if that's the same as the book, if it's the same page as the book, one of the biggest things that we need to understand is that you have active and passive money. It really breaks down the difference between being a self-employed person and an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And and for the longest time, sometimes we don't understand the difference because we say, "Well, I'm self-employed and I'm an entrepreneur," and you don't, and we make it seem as though they're interchangeable, but there's
Okay.
a difference between the two.
Hmm.
And it's not that it's bad or good, it's just where do you fall in the quadrants.
Okay.
And then once you know where you are now and you know how to get to the next quadrant, the goal is to get to the next quadrant.
Yeah.
Like I'm in, I'm not an investor yet. I think that's what it is. Whew, it's a employee, self-employed, business owner, and then the last one is investor. So
Yeah.
investor is the 250,000. That's 200. When you have 250K discretionary, then you become a certified investor.
Okay.
But anybody can invest. You just got to be a certified investor at 250.
Okay.
But then you have a business owner, a self-employed, and an employee. And
Okay.
it's not that, and you can jump. Like if you take your investment bankers, they're
Hmm.
employees, but they can easily jump into being investors at
Okay.
200 plus K just by how much money they got doing it. And
Okay.
it all depends on just knowing your quadrants. So all those are fun.
All right. Very good. And look at there, y'all. Y'all got a free one. You know, got a free one. Drop that in the chat for you. Now I don't know how the YouTube will get it, but yeah, our our program director figured that one out. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're talking about developing a six-figure mindset. and we're going to look at some different areas. The first area is mindset. And so we looked at Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says we have to renew our mind. And so renewing your mind starts, for me, I think the best way to renew your mind is to read. And so we're talking about some great books that you can use to renew your mind. Better information, better choices. You know, our life is made up of the sum total of the choices that we've made. And so if we want better outcomes, we need better information. And so in order to get better information, you got to renew your mind. Renew your mind. All right. We'll see where we at on our clock. Boy, this time is still moving, ain't it? All right. So you got some more for us, Brother James?
Yeah. The other one I think I had a total of 5. The last one I'm thinking about it, but I just couldn't put a name on it. I don't think anybody noticed, but it was one guy that I read. Man, it was a really good book. It's called Pathway to Possibilities. It was written by Pastor Burns.
I think I know that guy.
Now, this is how I read it. So everybody understand. The way I read it is I did twofold. So I read it, wrote through it on my tablet, and then I came back and I looked at where I was when I wrote it to where I am now.
Okay.
Because the book of Pathway to Possibilities, the benefit of that one is that now you have checks and balances. One of the biggest things that I had as growing up is that when I was younger, I wrote down what I expect, what I want, and when I want it.
Mm-hmm.
When I got older, the biggest thing that I had is that I had the ability to see what I wrote when I was a kid or when I was younger, and that helped me do the checks and balances. Out of all of the 4 books that I said previously, none of them do that. So when you look at Pathway to Possibilities, the benefit that everyone has is that if you write in the book, or if you take a notebook and you write inside your notebook, now you can look back and see where you was when you wrote it. So, and then you can now gauge, okay, cool. This is what I was thinking. This is now what I have. And you can write in there, do I have that? Have I met the criteria that I was looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Am I moving on? Am I still stuck? Those are beneficial when it comes to progressively understanding where you're going.
Okay.
And I say that because I had to think about that. I'm like, progressively understanding, because we're growing in understanding. Because when I was a kid, I thought it would be easy to buy a house, and I thought everybody would just be happy and everything would work itself out, and I would be married and everything would work itself out, and I won't have any arguments, and everybody was listening to me. Right? It's good, right? Right. That's what young people think. Like I'm gonna marry somebody who will be my identical twin. We ain't gonna be able to. We don't even got to talk. We can think the same thing, and it's gonna just work itself out. Right?
Okay.
That's nice, right? Then you get older, right? Then you get older, and you realize that not everybody think like you, and sometimes you got to compromise. Sometimes you got to be hard headed. Sometimes you got to be determined. Sometimes you got to be soft. Sometimes you got to understand all these things. But when you look back and you can say, okay, I can't buy a house with $1, but I can buy a house if my money is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I can't just yell at everybody. Not everybody understands common sense. However, these are the things in which I can do to help effectively move forward. And then that's where books like how to effectively talk to people, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Cool. Why are some people richer than other people? Cool. Why should the white guys have all the fun? Yep, I'm understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
How do I teach it to my kids? Yep, it's fun time with Damon. Learning how to earn with Damon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just as a kid, it's just small stuff. And then you come into, okay, cool. Where am I at currently according to the tax code, and where do I want to be? Oh, cash flow quadrant. It tells you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, Pathway to Possibilities. How do I know that I'm moving myself? How do I know I'm moving the needle effectively in the right direction?
Okay.
By looking at Pathway to Possibilities, I can gauge where I am when I wrote it, when I wrote down all the stuff I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I look back, I can look and say, okay, do I meet these criteria? Yes. Okay, cool. So I met them when I was thinking about it. Now I actively went and pursued it. Okay, cool. This is my vision. I wrote my vision. Where am I at? where am I at with my vision? And that way I can be more effective when I'm doing something.
Right.
And too often times we make these guesses, or I'll say we make open statements, but it's not written,
Mm-hmm.
because you can change your own thought process 5 years from now. Because you can say, "Oh no, I didn't write that. What I meant to say was, I'm gonna make it here."
Yeah.
No, but when you write it down and they got it stuck in your wall, you can see it. I said I want to have this amount of money by the time I turn 26.
Okay.
Once you write it down, now your mind is working towards it. It's gonna give you stress. You're gonna look at it like, man, I really need to hit these goals. And the reason for that is that it's okay to have goals. It's okay to work hard, to be determined to hit what you believe you got to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say you was looking at the age of 26 that you were gonna make six figures, but you didn't make six figures. You made $80,000. That's still a win because you went for it.
Right.
So it's those things that, even the book Pathway to Possibilities, if everyone utilized it correctly, then they can go back and they can start reviewing how they look at things. And they can review it as many times as they put on new information. So as they read these other four books, they can come back to the Pathway of Possibilities and say, hey, where am I now? And those are the things that will help us progress forward.
No, that was very good. That was very good because it was very much needed to understand that if you're going to develop a six-figure mindset, it starts with you and your willingness to renew your mind. And there are tools out there that you can use in order to renew your mind. You don't have to start at ground zero. There are people who've already been through, just like the guy with the why should all the white guys have all the fun? You know, he's got a billion dollar business empire.
Yeah.
Well, he's already been through some things that he's documented for you. Or when you look at Robert
Kiyosaki,
Kiyosaki, understanding those roles: the employee, the self-employed, the investor, and what's the other one? The
business
owner, and so even at a entry level, when you look at Damon John's book on learns to earn. So all these different things I'm saying can help us to renew our mind, and definitely Pathway to Possibility by Dr. Anthony Burns. It helps you to flush out in your thought pattern what it is that you're trying to do and where you want to go, and document it. Someone said that a plan is not a plan until you write it down. And then I love what you said, Brother James, and that is being able to go back and look at it to measure where you are to see if you made any headway or not.
Yeah.
A lot of times people, they'll go through it and document it, and then they put it on the shelf,
Yeah.
And, it's just like making a vision board. They'll make a vision board and then they'll hide it in the back of the closet, and then, what about that vision board? Oh yeah, it's around here somewhere. Well, the whole point of a vision board is to keep it before you as a vision. So you can, constantly see that. And so being able to renew your mind, understanding that anyone who grinds, anyone who puts forth the effort can have financial freedom. And you can rise up out of your financial slump, but it's not going to happen magically. Even though supernaturally we can sow seed and God can cause favor to come our way, and he can give us revelation or creative ideas or witty inventions, you still got to do some work. You're not going to just be able to sit on the couch and watch Gunsmoke. They don't know what Gunsmoke is. You probably don't even know what Gunsmoke is, do you?
You said Gunsmoke. I'm like, man, I haven't heard of that in like decades.
Look at that.
Decades. Like, Gunsmoke? What you talking about? Bonanza? Bonanza.
So you got to put in the work, and watching TV. Thank you. Our we got to get an official name for our producer. we we got to get to the place where we really, take control over our destiny, and stop allowing things to just happen, but to really just say, you know what, I'm going to take control of my destiny. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with watch TV. I watch TV, when I come home, sometimes I unwind, and so I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but I'm saying that it's important that we not waste our lives away and think that it's going to happen by itself.
Yeah.
All right. Did we get through all of the books?
Yeah, we got through all the books. I mean, there's a couple more that I would like. I mean, it's some honorable mentions, but
Okay.
so one honorable mention I would say would probably be. Uh, I'm actually thinking about. I'm thinking like, man, who do you put on? It was a book I recently read. It's Leaders Listen, Learn, and Lead.
Oh yeah, that's Dwayne Freeman.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, yeah, he was a minister that came to our church. Uh, he had a really good book. It's another book called. I, I think that was one, and then looking. Actually, I keep a lot of books around me because I'm always I like reading a lot. Uh, so one is Kingdom Purpose by Dr. Tony Evans. Just an honorable mention. I I do like that book. I like that book how it's how it formulates. It's the formulation of what we are planning on doing in the kingdom. Another
Mhm.
one that I like is Pastor. This is from you. Unleash your vision.
All right, all right. That's your pastor. Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to come to my y'all church.
Yeah, I'm like, cause I like read. Oh, it's a book I'm reading right now, and the book has it's a really good book. Really good book. It has a lot of insights. It's called Obstacles in the Way. It's a blue book. I forgot who the author is.
Hmm.
It's called Obstacles in the Way, and that book is. You said what, Pastor?
Or nothing. I was trying to see. It looked like I had the wrong Tony Evans book. This was said daily affirmations, kingdom purpose.
No. It's just it's the Kingdom Purpose. It's the big book. It's a big book. It talks about how like setting your life up to do
Discover.
kingdom work.
Oh, here it is. Discovering your calling.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Um, and that goes in line with the vision. Because if you have a vision, we all should be. You could be more suited following your vision than you can be doing what grandma told you to do,
Okay.
or doing because I feel it in my soul.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
let,
Yeah.
let's just line up to what we are called to do, and I can guarantee you will be good at what you're called to do. Remember, success isn't about dollars necessarily. It's
Mhm.
about life. Because I rather have a good life and be healthy. And like, oh, you want to make $1 billion, but I lose my health. But there's
Okay.
no point. I got $1 billion, but I can't trust anybody. But what's the point in having $1 billion?
Okay.
I'd rather have $6 and be in the company of all my friends and be having a good time and just being on one accord. I'd rather have $100,000 and have all my friends at $100,000 than be in a big old mansion and I can't trust anybody that's around me.
Right.
Right? Like what do you really want out of life? I
Hmm.
really want everyone to make it. So
Yeah.
those are the really big books. Those are the honorable mentions.
All right. All right. Well, listen, we are definitely out of time, and this has been really good. We'll look at a couple more steps as we continue to go forward in developing a six-figure mindset. And the first thing that we talked about is a mindset, and mind have to be renewed. And reading is the best way to renew them. So we put a bunch of books in the chat that you can just click on and go to. And so start this week. We put that PDF in there. That's one free. So you can start right there or wherever you want to start. but get going. So listen, we are out of time. Thank you again for tuning in to another Financial Friday. And we pray that we have increased your financial literacy through our conversation tonight. So James, you got 5 seconds.
I love you all.